Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are here with part 4 on the M+M M10X. This is the Canadian DMR version, but don't jump just yet. It's basically the same as the one in the US. The only difference is the barrel's a little bit longer so that it cuts out our SBR laws up here, and it might have a bit better of a trigger. We'll do a trigger pull later. This thing is super light and has a really quick reset. But yeah, we'll jump into the ergs. We'll go through that. I'll talk a little bit about the gun first. Again, then we'll address the ergs. Then I'll take you inside the gun, show you how it runs, show you exactly why I have these two guns here. These two guns are here because this is basically a marriage and then the kid of these two guns, which is pretty cool. This actually being a Valmet M78, 100% legal in Canada, one of the few AKs we can have up here. Basically standing in for an AKM, and this here being the SIG 550. This is a sniper. This guy's chilling here because this thing has taken a lot from this gun. The owner, I'm going to take a stab in the dark at his name here. I want to say Michael Meyer. I read it somewhere, and then I forgot my computer at work, so I don't have it here to check. I'm being lazy. I could use my phone. Anyways, that's the dude. He actually, I know his initials are the name of the company. He's got Swiss background. So if he's from Switzerland, I would be willing to bet quite a bit that he's had plenty of experience with the 550, which has just been the generic service rifle for them for a long time, STGW 90. And he developed this really cool gun that basically, this gun in itself is basically the Swiss take on the AK. This is the Finland take on the AK, which is very close to the actual AK, just they improved some stuff. And then Galil went on to further refine it. Swiss did their thing, and then Mr. M+M here did his thing. And I actually have to say, after doing my initial shooting with this gun, I've got only about 100 rounds through this thing. This gun itself, though, I picked up used. It's already got several hundred rounds through it. This gun is awesome. It is built to run, and it is a gun that I'm not afraid to bang around. This would be like a go-to-work gun for me. Really impressed. It's just simple controls, simple operating system. You wouldn't believe how simple this whole system is. I really have to credit Mr. M+M here, because I'm just going to call him M&M's. He's got less than half the components in this gun than an AR-15. When I break it apart, I'll tell you exactly how many. But he really simplified the whole system that he needed for this. It is way less parts than an AKM, and way less than an AR-15. And the gun runs like a top. I had zero malfunctions with this thing at all, and I'm running this crappy, basically surplus ammunition. It's dirty. You can see I just did my takedown video, and I'm dirty from the gun. I didn't put a lot of rounds here. I basically shot at what you saw it. I was clean before that. So it does get dirty, though this is dirty ammo. But the only problems I had with the gun was when I turned the gas setting off, because yes, it is an adjustable gas system. Again, the whole gas system is basically borrowed directly from the SIG 550 series of rifles, and I turned it off, single shot the rifle a couple times, and whenever I single shot the rifle, the action just really locked up. I'm not sure if it's a steel case ammunition, I don't know what it is. I don't know if this stuff is just really hard extracting and it needs all that force to knock it open or not, but I couldn't get it open in most cases by hand. I had to give it a good kick with the boot, put it on the ground and just boot kick it, and that would open up the action. Again, not a gun I'm afraid of banging around. This thing is a little tank, and it's ready to work. I really like it. So, again, the exact model of this gun is the M10X DMR. Again, that's the model for Canada. It's got an 18.6-inch barrel. It's a heavier profile, I believe, than the standard guns. I don't know why. There is some whole debacle with the DMR Magpul coming up. There was originally a distributor. These guns were supposed to be a nice, cheap, entry-level price. This gun would have sold like hotcakes if they'd have done that. Another distributor jumped in. This is all kind of hearsay. This is kind of what I've learned from the forums. If you care to hear this anecdotal story, but a new distributor swooped in. I think kind of said that the gun could be sold for more. At least this is what I took away from it. They thought they could rack the price up a bit more. Us Canadians would pay the NR, non-restricted tax, for a non-restricted length semi-automatic cool rifle, right? This is a cool rifle. And they went and did that. That jumped the price up to $2,000 or more when it was supposed to be coming in like $15.50 Canadian, which is an amazing price. And I think definitely would have been well worth it for this gun. It would have sold really well. Anyways, between the DMR barrel and the DMR safety was the really hot button. DMR safety, what the hell is a DMR safety? Though I do agree, this is a nice short throw safety. It looks like it's roughly 45 degrees, and it's very tactile, and it doesn't take a ton of pressure. Could maybe be a little bit lighter for my opinion, but not a whole lot. It's actually doing pretty good. Yeah, so this weapon system in general, if you've seen any other videos on it, it's either probably been the one from Iraq veteran 8888. They did one of the first reviews on this thing because they got 2 guns sent to them that were within the first 100 made, which is pretty cool. They looked a bit different. At that point in time, M&M was doing rolling changes. They were getting lots of feedback, making alterations to the system, and I think they gave them some good suggestions because some of the stuff they talked about wanting to see in the video is in this later production gun. Another good review is from Alabama Arsenal. I know that guy personally. He does good, solid reviews. He did like a 1,000-round review on this gun. And now I want to do one too because this gun this is begging to just have the crap shot out of it. Nitrided components, stainless steel components inside as well. It's kind of set up so that you can actually just shoot corrosive ammo if you want. It was meant just to be a gun that you just took out and shot. And apparently testing was done. The barrels were supposed to be good for like 15,000 rounds. Still holding 2.5 MOA accuracy at that point, apparently. And apparently the barrels are also quite easily changeable at the user level. You can buy replacements really inexpensively. It's like $250 US as of like circa 2019. So that's all great. So I jumped ahead a little bit. That was the DMR gun. The regular M10X-Z now, because now you got a Zukov stock, apparently has a 16.5-inch barrel, and that's the system. It's supposed to be roughly a 4.5-pound trigger. This trigger is definitely lighter. Like, get a load of this. Like, there's just, the wall is right there, and it just breaks like nothing. It's got a little bit of take or over travel, not much. Now look at this reset. You can double this thing so easily. Like I'm just letting off, and it's almost like the amount of pressure required to let it off slowly is more than actually breaking the trigger. It's actually unbelievably light. I really need to get a trigger gauge so I can actually do these things for you guys. Another quick fact is that if the safety's on, it locks up the system so you can't cycle it. This charging handle can be easily pulled off, swapped to the other side, so you AK operators out there can do your thing. I like mine better on this side, personally. There is a right way and a wrong way. I'll explain that in greater detail in the takedown video if you want to watch that. That would have been yesterday's video. But anyways, so some of the rolling changes we saw from Iraq veterans video to this video. Theirs had an AR buffer system. Actually had an internal buffer that actually absorbed some recoil, which was kind of neat. That's been swapped out with the Zukov system, which is a nice system, telescopic and folding. You can shoot the gun folded. I do so in my video. Takedown system is unbelievably easy. I've got a separate video for that if you want to see me disassemble and reassemble. Takes AK mags. They've got, again, this M&M patented magazine release lever, which is, it's cool for the fact that it really locks mags in sturdy, like a lot of AKs. This is a tight fit on this one, this Finish waffle mag. But usually, an AK, the mag is a little bit floppy in there. This tightens that down, and it's supposed to function with basically any AK mag out there. We got Hogue grips that are cut just for the gun, just with this profile. I got some Ergo Deluxe grips on here. It's again an M-Lock rail. There's a new model now too that the rail's cut back a little bit. I don't know what that's about. More of the gas system's exposed, but again, I don't really know why that would be a later variation. Typically, what we're seeing in the industry right now is that monolithic platforms, things like that, are getting longer. Companies are introducing, competition-ready versions that they extend. So I'm not really sure what's going on there with that. But at any rate, I'm quite happy with my setup the way it is. There's a factory muzzle device, which is in part compensator and flash hider. Seems to work pretty effective for me. This thing is not overgassed. Again, you've got a gas regulating setting here anyways, but not overgassed. Shoots really nicely. You can see my end of my shooting video. I showed the ejection pattern where all the steel casings were landing, and it was really, really good. I forgot something that I was going to tell you. Oh, 5/8 by 24. So if you don't like this device, you can swap basically whatever you want on it, including a suppressor. I think the new ones, I'm told, suppress fine. Again, adjustable gas system, so you can play around with that. I know the original guns, the Iraq Veteran 88, they did some tweaking to make them run suppressed, but I'm gathering that that's been addressed going forward. And I'll talk about the receivers and how this all works, this monolithic system, the steel inserts. I'll talk about that in a second here when I break the gun apart. You've gotten all my ergs, ambies. It's just a nice gun. I love to run it, and we're gonna leave her there. Let's jump inside, and then we'll close off the video after that. All right, guys, and here's where I left off in my disassembly reassembly video. At this point in time, the gun is all broken down. Let's take a look at things, shall we? We have a bolt carrier system that is identical to a SIG, well, not exactly the same, but oh so similar to the SIG 550 series of rifles. And that, of course, is very similar to an AK. And if you just look at this, now you should see that this is essentially an AK. It's just kind of stiff. I don't know why my gun is, it's tough. It's a really tight-fitting connection getting that piston into this carrier. I definitely had some trouble with that. And the gun's a little bit dirty because I just ran it. If you watched my video a couple days ago, had a good time putting some rounds through this thing. Of course, I'm shooting dirty, just surplus ammo, which this thing just eats. No problems whatsoever with this thing, but it's dirty. So again, we got a piston system here, long stroke, although it is connected to the carrier via this charging handle, which is reversible, which is pretty cool. That's your system right there. And again, this all assembled, man, that's why this is an AK. AK internals, essentially. I mean, hey, they work great. May as well get the benefits of that. And then also, again, the guy that made this thing, being his Swiss background, and I'm assuming experience with the SIG 550 rifle, I think that just led to, that's a system that works. He just wanted to bring some more AK back to the system, making it run on AK mags, and just giving it a better, well, I don't know. This gun just runs. Like, this is a gun that I'm not afraid to toss around and abuse a little bit. Anyways, we're talking about internals. So that's this. These are gas tube, which again is basically just SIG 550. Same with the regulator. A few more positions for gas regulation though, which is nice. And this gun is so simple. There are 49 components in this entire weapon system. Compare that to 80 in an AKM, or almost 100 in a typical AR-15. So he really simplified this system. It's again, it's an aluminum extrusion for the upper. It's a monolithic upper. They have a steel internal guides in here. Everything is steel, which is just, bomb-proof. And then it attaches to this, well, what appears to be a stamping. This lower here, it's got a stock assembly on it, obviously for the Zukov, the way that all works in there. But they just contain, a very AK-like trigger assembly in there. They got a good safety, which is nice tactile points. But no, this just hinges shut. You can take off. Why is this binding on me here? You can take this off as well. You just have to spin these screws off. Not really necessary for what we're doing here today. I've been told the barrel change process is relatively simple and doable at the user level. Replacement barrels are very inexpensive. It's a nitrided barrel. This gun is already used. This gun has already seen several hundred rounds, but I've had no problems with it in the time I've had it, and I'm digging it. So anyways, at this point in time, I'm going to put the gun back together, and then we're going to close our discussion on this gun, and that will conclude Series 1 of the rifle. If you want to see this gun being taken apart or put back together, check out Part 3, the part before this one. That's where I did this disassembly, reassembly. Cool beans. So just in closing now with this rifle, I want to leave you with a couple more things. There's a cool anecdote about the accuracy, and then not anecdote, well, it's claimed to be the accuracy. I'll talk about that. And then finally, just my last couple impressions of this gun. But accuracy-wise, the new ones, they're supposed to be getting 1.5 to 2 MOA. That, I've had a friend do quite a bit of testing with his. He was getting closer to 3 MOA groups, but I mean, that could vary from gun to gun. I do plan on checking out myself. I'm just realizing here, I'm feeling the gun up here, and I'm noticing a little bit of shelf forming here. That's probably, I don't know, that shouldn't be forming there. It doesn't seem like the charging handle makes contact, but something is creating a bit of a lip over here that's not on the other side, and that would indicate that it's getting hit at some point from this action going back and forth. Not sure why that is. I know ACRs were known for that as well, actually on the return stroke for the charging handle, because again, they didn't take quite enough out of the receiver, and it was the charging handle would bump into it. So I feel like that's happening here as well. Just an observation that I'm making right now in real time, pointing that out. But anyways, back to accuracy. Friend got closer to 3 MOA groups, wasn't super impressed with the rifle, just sold it. But for me, this isn't meant to be a tack driver. This is meant just to be a go out and do stuff gun. This gun, the company is claiming, does 0.7 MOA. Right? That's crazy. They're claiming that it does with match ammunition, and if you're using mags that single feed the ammunition. By that I mean like your typical mag here. This is a double feed mag, right? You got one round that just they kind of offset, and I guess that doesn't present them into the chamber properly. You don't get as precise of a fit. Ironically, drum mags, they present cartridges in single file, straight up. So you can use a drum, and then M10M mag, or they're actually designing a mag like a typical AK Rock and Lock mag that presents them single feed as well. And they're claiming 0.7 MOA accuracy with that match ammunition and using a single feed mag. So that's really cool. I've got to try this out. I've got to take this gun to the range actually and do some accuracy testing. I do want to revisit this gun again, as I was mentioning. This is a gun that's just screaming for a 1,000 round review, because even when I finished shooting earlier today and I came in, I loved it. I had a great time shooting this gun, and I just wanted to go out and shoot it some more because it just shoots. It's like a Toyota truck. It just drives, right? So I don't know. I find myself growing more and more fond of this system, and I just want to shoot it. So, and I know I've been talking about bringing accuracy videos to the show for quite a while here. It is still a format that I'm working on. I'm working with a camera system called Tacticam, which will allow you to see right through my scope. Not this one. It does need to have a bit of an eye box for the system to grab onto. But you'll be able to see me shoot right through my scope. So I'm going to start doing some accuracy stuff and some longer range shooting stuff and just different shooting style videos. That's all coming this year. I'm going to revisit a lot of these guns as a second rifle series where I run more rounds through them, approach the accuracy side, maybe a little bit of run and gun if I can get my chest rig system a little more dialed in, a little more stable. But that's just some stuff that's coming. Again, if I hadn't mentioned it, 7.62x39. This is basically it's a baby. It's these guys' baby, and this guy's brainchild. I'm at a loss for words. It was a good time. It was a fun gun to shoot. Thanks a lot for sticking with me here. I got your bonus gun for you right now. We've got an interesting one today. It is the Chris Vector. This is a Gen 1 gun. With that lackluster trigger, but I got a little cool little canted forward grip on here from Custom Smith Manufacturing. Go check him out on Instagram and his website. He's got lots of cool little grips and things like that. But yeah, Chris Vector, I've got to get this gun out too and do a video series on it. It's a very innovative system, the way the Super V bolt system here works, and just a nice system. Takes Glock mags, you know, good controls, just a cool little system. So we're gonna bust this guy out in greater detail in video series to come, and that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Arm&Gun out.